Greg from Kaplan Boating. I'm here with Lieutenant Jake Geist, Master Diver, Dive Coordinator at Fox Lake Fire Protection District.
Rescue diver for 8 years. I'm sure your viewers may know this already, but it's very shallow. The majority of the chain is about 5 feet. You know, you have some lakes up north in Antioch that you have 30-foot, 40-foot sections.
What do you see as the biggest causes you and your team are called out there?
Water sports, tubing, jet ski accidents, and those are all preventable. Obviously, alcohol is a big risk factor as well. Those two are usually involved when something happens.
Alcohol, I remember I took some of those boat safety classes, and there was a stat that stuck in my mind that said, one drink on land is the equivalent to 3 drinks on the water. In terms of tubing, the orange flags are the law now. I've even seen some folks with orange, like a swimmer's cap. That's a good idea. There's different types of life jackets, life preservers, right? Typically the minimum is that orange that goes around your neck, the life preserver.
Correct. That's the minimum.
That's the minimum. It's obviously not for water sports, though.
I would not wear that for water sport, no. That's just designed to keep your head above water. Minimum flotation. A lot of the PFDs that they recommend for water sports, they have like a 20, 30 pound lift, and they'll keep your buoyancy well above the water. And one thing I wanted to touch on with the PFDs is, obviously things happen, and things can happen quick, and accidents happen. With those water sports, if you don't have a life jacket on, and something happens, you hit your head, you get knocked out, at least that life jacket will keep you on the surface, and someone will be able to grab you and give you some sort of medical aid. If you don't have a life jacket on, you could be underwater, and in the chain, that's another thing to know about the chain, is that it's very murky. You can't see. It poses a big problem for us because we can't find people.
Yeah.
So that life jacket will save lives, and I feel like that's the biggest thing that I can drive home, is just to wear one, especially when you're doing water sports of any kind. Call 911 right away. When you call 911, especially when you're on the water, they know right away to ping your cell phone, and they can get GPS coordinates off of your cell phone, off your cell phone call. And they'll ping that, and they'll send that to us for GPS coordinates for when they called 911, where they called 911, and we can work off of that as a last scene point as well.
You don't want to be diving off head first into some of these shallow areas. Mostly it's sandy, but by the shores it's a little rocky, and it's not just soft sand.
You do not want to dive in head first in the chain. Definitely when you're at the sandbar, you don't want to dive in head first.
Any additional points or anything you want to leave folks with before we wrap up here?
Just be careful, use common sense. Definitely wear a life jacket if you're doing any type of water sport, any tubing, any jet skiing. Wear a life jacket, and it'll save your life.
Greg Kaplan here with Kaplan Boating. I'm here with Joe Keller of the Fox Waterway Agency.
The chain of lakes in Fox River is comprised of about 7,100 acres of waterway. It's a very well-known place, as your website points out. It's the busiest per boat per acre waterway during the summer months. Markers around Half Moon Island. They have about 8 to 10 of them out there. Yeah. We've recently put a sign up marking reef. We're trying to do a little bit more there because folks continue to have a problem. There's quite a bit of stone right around that island. So,
right.
And in fact, you can't take any area for granted on the system, especially when you're getting close to islands or remnants of islands, so folks should always maintain caution. It's a very shallow channel. We call that Governor's Channel. It's actually the main vein, I'll say, between the major lakes and heading into Fox River. There was a lot of folks that once they get out of that no-wake zone, they do make a cut, and they're allowed to do that. So folks should maintain caution over there for sure. In the holiday seasons, as your site has pointed out, we have upwards of over 100,000 people on this waterway enjoying it. It's been great for families, and all folks have flocked to this area during the summer months. One of the things that we've learned to appreciate more, and a lot of our users have learned to appreciate, is the precious value of the gems in our own backyard.
Any last-minute thoughts for boaters?
One thing I'd emphasize is this. Some of the situations that happened in the last year where folks maybe lost their lives was simply an issue of folks not wearing life vests. So we encourage folks to make sure that before they get on the waterway, they have enough life vests for themselves and for anybody that comes onto their boat, and practicing simple safety and practices that they should do for themselves and their families and their guests that they bring on the waterway. We have a link on our website that talks about some of those things. I encourage folks to go look at it. But number one, enjoy the waterway, have fun, be safe, be smart, and thank you very much for your participation.